We interrupt this coverage of ReasonCon 2017 to bring you our regularly scheduled episode.
And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man.
That's right.
Of the seed of man.
That word seed is sperm, and sperm comes through having sex.
It's shut out of your father's rod,
right.
To put it in layman terms, in his penis.
That's right.
That means a man put his penis in a woman and bust off in it.
Then the angel said to him, "Take out the entrails of this fish, and lay up his heart and his gall and his liver for thee. For these are necessary for useful medicines."
The rest of the chapters of the book of Esther,
Go ahead.
which are found neither in the Hebrew nor in the Chaldee.
Greetings, fellow worker slaves, podcasting at 128 kilobits from the Fortress of Squalitude. This is the Atheist in the Trailer Park Podcast. I'm your host, Tucker. Professor Fuzznuts is in my lap, furiously demanding attention. Yes, it's a podcast hosted by a guy and he's cat. Get over it. And this episode is more of Chris from the Podunk Polymath Podcast and I reading from The Wisdom of Jesus, Son of Sirach. I do have one more ReasonCon episode, but I think that I'm going to make that the Patreon-only episode, as it's got to be heavily edited, no matter which feed I put it on. But if I put it on the Patreon-only feed, I don't have to do quite as much editing. Originally, I was going to split the conversation I had with America about ReasonCon into 2 episodes. One for the regular feed and one for the Patreon-only feed, with the Patreon-only one having the more interesting content. Things like America saying that she's going to the next one if for no other reason than she can run naked down the hall. But I didn't have time to do that this weekend. I had planned to do it Friday night, but I got home from work, decided I needed a nap, and woke up 14 hours later. That put me in a bit of a bind time-wise. I had some things to do around the house, like yard work, which I have to do during daylight hours. Additionally, I had an interview with Gleb Sipersky scheduled for the afternoon that will be on an upcoming episode that I didn't want to reschedule. I've also ran into the problem that the closest grocery store to me is doing things that mean I'm not going to be buying a whole lot of things from them anymore. I always knew that I had to be careful when I bought things from them, since they tended not to pay attention to the expiration date on things. The other day, however, I was in there and noticed that in their frozen food section, a whole lot of food in their freezer was thawed. There wasn't a sign on the door warning that the freezer was broken, but when you grabbed a bag of food, it was squishy soft. I'm certain that they knew about it, however, because there was cold air coming out of the freezer, like you'd expect if it was working. Clearly, what had happened was that the freezer broke, and instead of getting the stuff out of there until it could be repaired, they just left it, and the repairs took so long that the stuff was able to thaw out. I've had food poisoning in the past, and as they say, the first time you get it, you're scared you're going to die. The second time you get it, you're scared you won't die. All of which means that I'm going to have to be frequenting the grocery store that's a 40-minute walk from my house for a lot of things. Additionally, since it's getting warmer here, we've already had a couple of days which broke 90, and it's not even June when that normally starts to happen. So I'm either going to have to go early in the morning or late in the evening to keep any cold foods from going bad on my way home, and those are kind of the times when I normally work on the podcast, since I can't do stuff outside. All of which awkwardly brings me to my next point. I'm going to have to make some changes to the show. Don't worry, America isn't going anywhere. After all, what kind of white guy would I be if I didn't exploit free black labor when I had the chance? But it's America's recent layoff that's pushing me to do this. I've said in the past that one of the reasons I started this podcast was because I heard a couple of podcasters who make more at their day jobs than I do complaining that if they didn't make $400 an episode, they'd have to quit doing the show. That was right after they laughed off someone who wrote in to complain that they had gotten their facts wrong in a previous episode. I am, of course, not at the $400 an episode level, but I can't complain in the least about the amount of support I've gotten from the folks who listen to the show. A podcaster can only expect about 1% of their audience to financially support them. Over 3% of mine does. And when I've needed money, lots of you have stepped up to help me out. Clearly, since this show is the only practical way for me to supplement my income as I don't have a car, I have to do something to get a larger audience. And prior to this, I've been content to keep doing the show, watching the numbers slowly grow, in large part thanks to America. So when she told me that she got laid off from her job, I got angry. Not merely because she lost a damned good job, but because once I told all of you out there about it and asked that if she came to us needing help to do whatever you could to help her, that was literally all I could do. I would have liked to be able to say to her, okay, what's your standard monthly expenses like rent, insurance, car payment, etc., and then cut her a check to be able to cover those bills. Now, right now, she doesn't need it since she's got a severance package, but who knows how long it'll take her to find another job. I can't do anything more for her than I've already done. I can't even pick up the cost of her groceries for a week at the moment. You have no idea how angry this makes me. America has really done a lot for me in the short time that we've known one another. When I was facing eviction, she went around sharing the shit out of my GoFundMe page and cajoling people to donate. When Houdini died, she was the first person to message me with her phone number telling me to call her if I needed someone to talk to. When I've needed to bitch about one of my exes, she's been happy to listen even though I was complaining about a Facebook friend of hers. Now, when there's a chance that she could be in trouble, I can't even do 1/10 of what she's done for me to help her out. I don't know who said it, but I agree with the sentiment. Do what you want to me, but if you fuck with my friends, then I'm coming after you with everything I've got. My poverty has killed a cat and is stopping me from helping a friend in their time of need. If I were the kind of person who owned guns, at this point, my face would be all over the news because I'd have shot up a place by now. I'm not, though, and the only hope I have of getting into a place where I don't have to beg people for money while I watch something go horribly wrong to a friend or an animal that I care about is this podcast. But for that to happen, I have to make changes. Now, hopefully those changes I make won't alienate those of you who are currently listening to the show. What I want is to make changes that take those elements you love and amplify them so that you love the show more, as well as get other people to love the show. I also haven't fully decided as to what those changes are going to be. I have an idea of what some of them are, but I'll be doing anything and everything I can think of to increase the popularity of the show. Some of it, I'm sure, will bomb spectacularly, but hopefully I'll get enough things right that the numbers go up. One of the things that I've done since the start of the podcast that I'm no longer going to be doing is I'm not going to be censoring myself quite as much. There have been a number of times when a joke or a comment has popped into my head and I've not said it, or I've cut it out of the podcast because I wasn't sure how folks would take it. I really doubled down on censoring myself when America was on, and then cursed myself after we recorded the show for something I said. In talking with America, she's told me that I haven't done anything that she's found remotely offensive. So, obviously, I've been worried about nothing, and that means I'm going to stop worrying and start laying the smack down like the asshole I was meant to be. One final thing before we get to Chris and I reading from the Apocrypha. If there's any listeners out there who can write software and want to help the podcast, then let me know. I won't claim that my request is simple because I haven't done any programming since Reagan was in office, and then all I ever used was BASIC. But I'd like to have a program, and as soon as I can scrape the money up, I'm going to be getting some books on Python programming to try and do this, where I drop in the URL of a web page. The program imports the text of the page, lets me highlight what I think are the keywords of the page, and then shows the other pages that I've put into the program with the same keywords. Here's why this would be handy for me. A few weeks ago, I was searching on the show notes page for a particular story which I knew we'd covered on the podcast. One of the results, however, was to a story which involved Franklin Graham that I'd forgotten we'd done. Had I remembered that we'd done that particular story on him, I would have referenced it in the most recent story about him that we'd covered, as it completely cut the legs out from under some of his claims in the first story. Having a program where I drop links in, pick out keywords, and then the program spits out related stories would have enabled me to quickly spot this, as trying to search through all the show notes or the web page for the show notes is a tedious process. Additionally, since I tend to think in weird patterns, at least when it comes to Google searches, being able to customize the keywords would enable me to tailor things so that I could better find related stories. I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to look for something on the internet, but I had to give up because the only phrases I could remember were so generic that they brought up millions of results, which I would have had to slowly wade through to find the specific thing I was looking for. If anybody out there is willing to take a stab at writing such a program, I'd be eternally grateful. And I wouldn't care if you offered it to other podcasters so long as I got to use the thing for free. Otherwise, I'll have to give it a go when I can. Enough of my babbling. It's time to get to Chris and I reading from the Apocrypha. Go ahead and, since you're the guest.
A laboring man that A is given to drunken. Okay, that A is just random. That is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away, and he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent. Moss and worms shall have him to heritage, and a bold man shall be taken away. Yeah, okay, man. That's whatever.
Yeah, okay, so that word that gave you such trouble is an old version of contempt.
I just thought it was a typo, but okay.
Yeah. Ain't no telling. He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded, and he that sinneth shall be offended against his own soul. Whoso taketh pleasure in wickedness shall be condemned, but he that resisteth pleasures crowneth his life. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil.
Rehearse not unto another that which is told unto thee, and thou shalt fare never the worse. Whether it be friend or foe, talk not of other men's lives, and if thou canst without offense, reveal them not. For he heard and observed thee, and when time cometh, he will hate thee.
But I thought God loved everyone.
But he does, as long as you do exactly what he says.
If thou hast heard a word, let it die with thee, and be bold. It will not burst thee. Now I'm just picturing John Hurt and Alien. A foot travaileth with a word, as a woman in labor of a child. As an arrow that sticketh in a man's thigh, so is a word within a fool's belly. But it just said that a word wouldn't do you any. You could not worry about the words and not say them, and it wouldn't bother you. But now it's saying it does.
If you're looking for consistency in this, you're looking in the wrong fucking place.
It's consistently inconsistent. Gotcha. I gotcha.
You got me. You're right. Okay. Admonish a friend. It may be he hath not done it. And if he have done it, that he do it no more. Admonish thy friend, it may be he hath not said it, and if he have, that he not speak it again. Speak it not again. Admonish a friend, for many times it is a slander, and believe not every tale. Okay.
So, be a dick to your friends and just assume the worst. Because even if they haven't done it, by being an asshole to them, you might prevent them from doing whatever it is.
Well, that works perfectly.
Yeah, that's... There is one that slippeth in his speech, but not from his heart. And who is he that hath not offended with his tongue? Admonish thy neighbor before thou threaten him, and not being angry, give place to the law of the Most High. I have no idea what one has to do with the other. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom attaineth his love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law, and the knowledge of his omnipotency. If a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he do it, he angereth him that nourisheth him.
The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. There is a wickedness, and the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom. The fuck? He that hath small understanding and tiny hands, and feareth God, is better than one that hath much wisdom, and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
And that's bullshit.
Yep.
Absolute bullshit. There is an exquisite subtlety, and the same is unjust. And there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear. And there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. Casting down his countenance, and making as if he heard not, where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware.
And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance, when thou meetest him. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is. The fuck does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently, if you're dressed strange, you laugh too much, and you walk funny, you're a bad guy. Or it actually just shows what he is. Well, what the hell is he?
Yeah. A member, or somebody from the Ministry of Silly Walks?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. There's a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance, for so shalt thou escape wilful sin.
As is the lust of an eunuch to deflower a virgin. Excuse me, as is the lust of a eunuch to deflower a virgin. Okay, eunuch or not, deflowering a virgin is not really a fun time.
Generally speaking, no.
No. So is he that executeth judgment with violence. Okay, this now if you believe the kind of crap that these assholes did back then, a eunuch has no lust. So to kill somebody with to go after somebody with violence is to be, is not to happen.
Has it the loss of being defined? So he is it. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. They're completely different.
Yeah.
But they're saying that there is a lust for a eunuch to deflower, but there isn't.
But they would have thought that there wasn't, because, that was the whole thing with eunuchs. Oh, well, you cut off their balls and they don't want women anymore. which actually is not true. It all depends on what age you cut off their balls and other things like that. Because quite a number of eunuchs made a good living nailing women because, the women could get laid and didn't have to worry about getting pregnant.
That would be weird. Ugh, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
That man's a eunuch. That man's a eunuch. That man's dead.
I've seen that in a while. I need to see that again.
Yeah. There is one that keepeth silence, and is found wise, and another, by much babbling, becometh hateful. Yeah, some people, if they won't shut up, you're just like, fuck you, I hate you.
Yeah.
Some man holdeth his tongue, because he hath not to answer, and some keepeth silence, knowing his time.
Hmm. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. He that useth many words shall be abhorred, and he that taketh to himself authority therein shall be hated. What?
Yeah.
There is a sinner that hath good success in evil things, and there is a gain that turneth to loss. Well, thank you for those wise motherfucking words. I appreciate
it. In the section Heretic Woman and I read, there was an awful lot of talk about people being double-tongued. But
that's great.
Yeah, well, I was like, man, you'd make a killing in the porn industry. Like that.
Oh, God, okay.
There is a gift that shall not profit thee, and there is a gift whose recompense is double. There is an abasement because of glory, and there is that lifteth up his head from a low estate. What the fuck? Oh. There is that buyeth much for a little, and repayeth it sevenfold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever.
Back to gibberish. A wise man by his words maketh him beloved, but the graces of fools shall be poured out. The gift of a fool shall do thee no good when thou hast it, neither yet of the envious for his necessity, for he licketh to receive many things for one. He giveth little and upbraideth much. He openeth his mouth like a crier. Today he lendeth, and tomorrow he will ask it again. Such an one is to be hated of God and man. Okay.
The fool saith, I have no friends. I have no thank for all my good deeds, and they that eat my bread speak evil of me. Actually, no, that kind of sounds like my life. Ooh.
God damn.
How oft and of how many shall he be laughed to scorn? For he knoweth not aright what it is to have, and it is all one unto him as if he had it not. English, motherfucker. To slip upon a pavement is better than to slip with the tongue. No. So the fall of the wicked shall come speedily.
An unseasonable tale will always be in the mouth of the... What is an unseasonable tale? What does that mean? An unseasonable tale.
It's like Christmas in July?
I don't know. It sounds like bland.
Yeah.
Not season? I don't know. Will always be in the mouth of the unwise. A wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth, for he will not speak it in due season. Oh my God. Maybe you're right. It's out of season, I guess. There is that is hindered from sinning through want, and when he taketh rest, he shall not be troubled. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. There is that destroyeth his own soul through bashfulness, but I thought humility was a good thing, and by accepting of persons overthroweth himself. There is that for bashfulness promiseth to his friend, and maketh him his enemy for nothing. A lie is a foul blot in a man, yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. No, how about this? A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie, but they both shall have destruction to heritage.
Okay, whatever.
The disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him. There's some more wise shit for you. A wise man shall promote himself to honor with his words, and he that hath understanding will please great men. That makes some sense, I guess.
He that tilleth his land shall increase his heat, and he that pleaseth great men shall get pardon for iniquity. But you're not supposed to hang out with great men if you're not great, because it just said that earlier.
Again.
Yeah, I know. Consistently inconsistent.
Exactly.
Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove.
This keeps getting better and better.
Wisdom that is hid, and treasure that is hoarded up. What profit is in them both? Now, that I will agree with. Better to share your wisdom and share your treasure than hoard it up. Right? Right?
Sure, yeah. Somebody says, exactly. So go to Tucker's GoFundMe. I'm going to start a GoFundMe myself, I think. Because I could use one. Anyway, do you want to just finish it out?
Yeah. Better is he that hideth his folly than a man that hideth his wisdom. Necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that leadeth his life without a guide.
Exactly. My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for thy former sins. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent, for if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All iniquity is as a two-edged sword, the wounds whereof cannot be healed.
To terrify and do wrong will waste riches. I know plenty of people who would disagree with that. Thus the house of proud men shall be made desolate. A prayer out of a poor man's mouth reacheth to the ears of God, and his judgment cometh speedily. But I thought she wanted a man with a slow hand.
All right.
He that hateth to be reproved is in the way of sinners, but he that feareth the Lord will repent from his heart.
An eloquent man is known far and near, but a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth. He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The congregation of the wicked is like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy it. Tow? T-O-W. I'm not sure. In that context, I'm not sure what that is.
Got me.
Maybe it's hay or something.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell.
Wow, that seems a bit harsh.
Yeah. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof, and the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiplieth bitterness. Damn, so that means fucking House, who was an atheist, was a really wise motherfucker.
Well, of course, we all knew that already. Oh, shit. The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he liveth. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it, and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and he casteth back behind his back.
The talking of a fool is like a burden in the way, but grace shall be found in the lips of the wise. Yeah. So grace is riding the wise guy, huh? They endureth at the mouth of the wise man in the congregation, like a cold sore.
Nice.
and they shall ponder his words in their heart. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool, and the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense. Like much of this fucking book.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet, and like manacles on the right hand. A fool lifteth up his voice with laughter, but a wise man doth scarce smile a little. Learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold, and like a bracelet upon his right arm. Awesome. Thanks for that.
A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him.
Okay.
A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. It is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with disgrace.
This is great stuff.
Dude makes no
This
fucking
is just-
sense. I mean, fucking give me some acid. Maybe this will make some sense.
Whoa. Words will come out and start with snakes and shit. Let's see. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their crotch. Heart. I don't know, I'm just making this shit up. When the ungodly curses Satan, he curseth his own soul. A whisper defileth his own soul, and is hated wheresoever he dwelleth. It's like a poor man's Proverbs.
Yeah. Not even that good.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even for a poor man's Proverbs, it's not that good.
Oh, yeah.
A slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and everyone will hiss him out to his disgrace.
I'm sorry, what? You don't hiss out stones. You just throw them in the water or skip them on the lake or something. Anyway, okay, sorry.
Wait till you get the next line. A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill. Every man that takes it up will shake his hand.
Who the hell does that?
I don't know, man. An evil nurtured man is the dishonor of his father that begat him, and a foolish daughter is born to his loss.
Okay, I'm not going to try to understand.
Yeah.
All right. A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband, but she that liveth dishonestly is her father's heaviness. She that is bold dishonoreth both her father and her husband, but they both shall despise her. So you can't be a bold woman. You gotta just be quiet, I guess.
Yeah.
That's awesome. A tale out of season is as music in mourning, but stripes and correction of wisdom are never out of time. Yeah, right.
Whoso teacheth the fool is as one that glueth a pot sherd together, and is he that waketh one from a sound sleep. He that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. When he hath told his tale, he will say, What is the matter?
This awesome.
My thoughts exactly. If children live honestly and have wherewithal, they shall cover the baseness of their parents.
This just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, it does.
But children being haughty, through disdain and want of nurture, do stain the nobility of their kindred. Weep for the dead, for he hath lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he wanteth understanding. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest, but the life of the fool is worse than death. Okay. 7 a days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and an ungodly man all the days of his life. What? So, what? 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, okay? But for a fool and an ungodly man all the days of his life. So they mourn the fool every day of his life?
That's what it sounds like to me.
But I would think you would be the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway. Whatever.
Actually, I would think you would mourn for your life because you've been stuck dealing with some idiot. Because I sure as shit have dealt with some idiots on jobs, and it's been like, God, kill me. Kill me.
Well, that's true.
I don't think, oh, what a senseless waste of human life they are. And I feel so sorry for them. It's just like, God, no, please, get rid of them. Kill them. Do something. Kill me. I don't care at this point.
That's you.
Talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that hath no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. Okay. What is heavier than lead? Uranium, for one thing. And what is the name thereof but a fool? I don't know. Sand, salt, and a mass of iron is easier to bear than a man without understanding.
Sure.
Okay.
As timber girt and bound together in a building cannot be loosed with shaking, so the heart that is established, be it by advised counsel, shall fear at no time. A heart settled upon a thought of understanding is as a fair plastering on the wall of a gallery. Pale set on a high place will never stand against the wind, so a fearful heart in the imagination of a fool cannot stand against any fear. Sure, man. That made no sense.
No, it didn't. He that pricketh the eye will make tears to fall. Well, yeah. And he that pricketh the heart maketh it to shew her knowledge. No, actually, it causes it to bleed and the person to die. Whoso casteth a stone at the birds frayeth them away. Well, yeah. And he that upbraideth his friend breaketh friendship. But you just said to upbraid your friend or admonish them, even if they didn't do something, because you'll prevent them from doing something they shouldn't.
Oh, Lord. I'm getting a headache trying to figure that fucking shit out.
Yeah. Though thou drewest a sword at thy friend, yet despair not, for there may be a returning to favor. No, if you threaten to stab me, we're pretty much fucking done.
Yeah, really. Let's see. 22. If thou hast opened thy mouth against thy friend, fear not, for there may be a reconciliation, except for upbraiding or pride, or disclosing of secrets, or a treacherous wound. For these things every friend will depart. Be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity. Abide steadfast unto him in his time of trouble, that thou mayest be heir with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to be condemned, nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration. As the vapor and smoke of a furnace goeth before the fire, so reviling before blood. There you
go. Okay. I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him. And if any evil happen unto me by him, every one that heareth it will be ware of him. Who shall set a watch before my mouth, and a seal of wisdom upon my lips, that I fall not suddenly by them, and that my tongue destroy me not?
That's great.
Yeah.
O Lord, Father and Governor of all my whole life, leave me not to their counsels, and let me not fall by them. Who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over mine heart, that they spare me not for mine ignorances, and it pass not by my sins, lest mine ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction, and I fall before mine adversaries, and mine enemy rejoice over me, whose hopes is far from thy mercy.
Yeah, whatever. O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind.
Okay.
Whatever. Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence.
I've heard that word, but I can't remember what it means.
Yeah, me either, but thankfully we have the interwebs. Strong sexual desire and lust.
Yeah!
Yeah, baby. And thou shalt hold him up that is desirous in always to serve thee. Mm-hmm. So, prop up your stud muffin. Let not the greediness of the belly nor the lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over thy servant into an impudent mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I am just bumfuzzled by this.
Yes. Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth. He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips.
Anal, yes. Lips, no.
Not so much. The sinner shall be left in his foolishness. Both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. Accustom not thy mouth to swearing, neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One. Fucking goddamn it. How about that?
Yeah. For as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark, or balls, so that he that sweareth and nameth God continually shall not be faultless. So stop talking about fucking God, all right? A man that useth much swearing shall be filled with iniquity. Actually, that's not true. Swearing has been shown to be good for you.
Yep.
And the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him, and if he acknowledge not his sin, he maketh a double offense. And if he swear in vain, which would mean futilely swearing, like butt fuck, and then he doesn't actually butt fuck something.
Okay,
wait, I'm not done with that line, and I've lost.
Sorry.
I've lost there. He shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities, or calamari.
Calamari. Ugh, I hate that stuff. All right. Let's see. There is a word that is clothed about with death. God grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob, for all such things shall be far from the godly, and they shall not wallow in their sins. Use not thy mouth to intemperate swearing, for therein is the word of sin. You already said that. Remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so thou by that thy custom become a fool. And wish that thou hadst not been born, and curse the day of thy nativity. Ooh, it's kind of harsh.
The man that is accustomed to opprobrious, which means what? Expressing scorn or criticism.
Yeah.
Words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Well, yeah, if you just call somebody a dipshit their entire life, they're probably not going to do anything to make themselves be less of a dipshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring forth wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire. Friction burns, baby. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. So it's
what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I think it's trying to say it's all pink in the middle.
I guess so. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, Who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Damn. Beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ever they were created, so also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. Yeah, that's... Jesus sees everything shit, which always disturbed me.
This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspecteth not, he shall be taken. So, you're going to be raped in an alley and tossed out onto the street.
Awesome.
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband, and bringeth in an heir by another.
Again, awesome.
For the first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High, and secondly, she hath trespassed against her own husband, and thirdly, she hath played the whore in adultery, and brought children by another man.
Can't have that.
Nope.
She shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her children. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall bring forth no fruit. She shall leave her memory to be cursed, and her reproach shall not be blotted out. God damn.
Yeah.
But is the same thing done to the guys? No. Fucking ridiculous.
And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of the Lord, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of the Lord. It is great glory to follow the Lord, and to be received of him is long life. So if you take it up the butt from God, you'll live a long time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the poop hole loophole.
Gross. Okay. All right. Sriracha.
Sriracha. I don't know. Sriracha.
Sriracha. Good sauce. Anyway, wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people.
But that's contrary to what somebody who is wise is supposed to do. They're not supposed to praise themselves, not supposed to, be prideful, etc., etc. I know. The only thing we can count on is the inconsistency.
I wasn't gonna say it. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth and triumph before his power.
So
I came
swallows.
out. Yeah, but listen to this next one. I came out of the mouth of the Most High and covered the earth as a cloud. Good God.
So she can't hold it down and barfs it back up.
Yeah, that's
I had an ex like that.
Okay. Jesus.
I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven, and walked in the bottom of the deep. In the waves of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation, I got a possession. What the fuck?
I don't know. Sorry. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest. Oh, yeah. And he said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. All right.
Yeah, so you shoot a load into Jacob, and he'll give birth in Israel.
Oh, yeah. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. Sure.
In the holy tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Sion. Likewise, in the beloved city he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. And I took root in an honorable people. I bet you did. Even in the portion of the Lord's inheritance. So you went after God's sloppy seconds.
That's right. You know what, though? I was exalted like a cedar in that's probably be Lebanon, I guess.
Yeah.
And as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon, I was exalted like a palm tree in En-Gedi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water. I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon and aspalathus. Whatever.
What the fuck is aspalathus?
I don't know.
And a plane tree, is that one that has like 747s on it or some shit?
I don't know. And I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. That's good stuff.
Yeah, okay. So, wow. And I'm looking up the aspalathus. And they're mostly from South Africa. How the fuck would somebody who lived in the Mideast know about a plant that's from South Africa?
Quit asking questions so much, man.
I'm sorry, man.
God knows everything. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, what the hell is you stopped at you read 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What the hell is a galbanum?
I don't know about that either. Onyx I've heard of, but I thought that was a stone.
It's a gum. Onyx is a stone. Galbanum is a gum from a Persian plant. Now, what is storax?
Chlorax's brother?
That's what you would think, but it's another gum resin. As the turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and grace. But what about will and grace?
Oh,
As the vine brought forth, God damn this! As the vine brought forth I pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. So you're eating your own jizz.
That sounds awesome.
I am the mother of fair love and fear and knowledge and holy hope. I therefore, being eternal, am given to all my children which are named of him.
Awesome. Come unto me, all ye that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. Oh, yeah.
Bukkake.
All right. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and mine inheritance than the honeycomb. They that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty.
He that obeyeth me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not do amiss. Perhaps they'll do a mister?
You're funny tonight. I'm sorry.
All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High God, even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage unto the congregations of Jacob.
Faint not to be strong in the Lord, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto him, for the Lord Almighty is God alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. He filleth all things in his wisdom, as Phison and as Phison and as Tigris in the time of the new fruits. He maketh the understanding to around like Euphrates, and as Jordan in the time of the harvest.
He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as Gion in the time of vintage. What is Gion? Okay, none of this can be it, but this is really weird. In theoretical general relativity, a Gion is an electromagnetic or gravitational wave which is held together in a confined region by the gravitational attraction of its own field energy.
Of course.
Yes. And then in psychology, Gions are the simple 2D or 3D forms such as cylinders, bricks, wedges, cones, circles, and rectangles corresponding to the simple parts of an object.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
No, I don't think it's either. But that's what comes up, so who the fuck knows? The first man knew her not perfectly, no more shall the last find her out. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. Okay? I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into my garden.
Awesome. Conduit into a garden. That sounds kind of geeky. I said, I will water my best garden, and will water abundantly my garden bed. And lo, my brook became as a river, and my river became a sea. I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom.
In 3 things I was beautified, and stood up beautiful both before God and men: the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, and a man and wife that agree together. 3 sorts of men my soul hateth, and I am greatly offended at their life: a poor man that is proud. I don't see why that's necessarily such a bad thing. A rich man that is a liar. Okay, that I can understand. And an old adulterer that doteth.
Okay.
I don't understand that at all. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age?
Beats me.
Me.
Oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience the crown of old men, and the fear of God is their glory. Good stuff.
Yeah. For there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Yeah, I can see how those things are comparable.
Yeah.
Well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, and that hath not slipped with his tongue, and that hath not served a man more unworthy than himself. Okay? Well is him that hath found prudence, dear prudence,
I knew that was coming.
and he that speaketh in the ears of them that will hear. Yes, Fuzznuts.
Oh, how great is he that findeth wisdom, yet is there none above him that feareth the Lord. But the love of the Lord passeth all things for illumination. He that holdeth it, whereto shall he be likened? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of his love, and faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him.
Give me any plague, but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of misogynistic.
Just a bit.
And any affliction, but the affliction from them that hate me. Okay, so you'll take cancer rather than having somebody punch you. No, I don't think so. And any revenge, but the revenge of enemies.
Okay.
Okay, there is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy.
I guess, yeah.
Well, I just want to point out that whilst it's common to think that there is no head above a certain serpent, men actually do have a brain they think with occasionally.
Occasionally. Very occasionally.
Yes.
Let's see. I had rather dwell with the lion and the dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. God damn, really?
Yeah.
That's a bit much. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sob bitterly. Oh, God. That's great.
Yeah. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Damn!
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Bukkake! As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. I don't know. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure.
What the fuck are you even talking about? What the hell? I mean, that shouldn't be only for that purpose, but I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. That makes no goddamn sense. She's maintaining her husband. That means it's good, right?
That's what she's supposed to do according to the Bible.
Yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh her weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. God damn, is this just pouring out on women chapter, verse, whatever?
Looks like it.
Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. Gad? Okay, go abroad maybe. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Wow, goddamn. And they say the fucking Quran is bad. Come on, man.
Yeah. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the Lord, he shall at all times rejoice with a cheerful countenance. There will be 3 things that mine heart feareth, and for the 4th I was sore afraid: the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death. I don't think so. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Taking it a little bit far.
An evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. A drunken woman is awesome. And a gadder abroad causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. But I like them naked. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Okay.
Yeah. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath... Yeah, it's pretty bad. As a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow.
Okay, I'm sorry, but if you think a woman who swallows is bad, you've totally lost me.
Yeah.
The grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones. Thank you. I'm single, and I'm fat enough as it is already, so I don't need a wife who will make me fatter.
Yeah.
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. So, I guess that's a fancy way of saying, you know, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make an ugly woman your wife.
Is that what it says?
A shamefaced.
It doesn't say ugly, though.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's a polite way of saying ugly.
Could be. Let's see. As the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. As the clear light is upon the holy candlestick, so is the beauty of the face in ripe age. As the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver, so are their fair feet with a constant heart. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound. So that means work your dick. And give not thy strength to strangers. Okay. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, trusting in thy goodness of thy stock.
Mm-hmm.
So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
A harlot shall be accounted as spittle. Oh my. But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Shit. A dishonest woman condemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. Of course.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. A woman that honoureth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoureth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. Okay.
A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. God damn. That's fucking harsh, man.
Yep.
There are two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepared such a one for the sword. It has nothing to do with anything else. A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong, and an huckster should not be freed from sin. It's just like they just threw those last two on there just for the fuck of it.
Yep. And we have crossed the hour mark, so I vote we wrap this shit up here.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody about your podcast yet again?
Yep. Podunk Polymath Podcast can be found at podunkpolymath.com. Check me on Twitter at Podunk Polymath, at Facebook / the Podunk Polymath. Email me at podunkpolymath@gmail.com, and find my podcast and all the great podcatchers such as Google Play, Stitcher, and iTunes.
All right. I thank you, and I'll have links to that in the show notes. And you will certainly be back on at some point.
I'm sure I will. Thanks again for having me, sir.
Not a problem. My pleasure.
That's it for this episode of The Atheist in the Trailer Park Podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as just about anywhere else podcasts can be found. Many of the episodes are also on YouTube. Follow the show on Twitter. @TParkAtheist is the show's Twitter handle. It's on Facebook at facebook.com/trailerparkatheist.com. If you happen to like the podcast, please rate it on iTunes. If you'd like to support the podcast, there's a donate button on the show notes page. You can support it via Patreon at patreon.com/TNTucker. Thanks for listening.
Say goodnight, Fosnots.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
Damned cat.